Look, if you don't want to make that change within yourself, it's not going to get better. This might not apply to everybody, but if you feel like you're rock bottom, okay, and you're hoping for a better day, but you literally are doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, that's a definition of insanity. You are provided with a choice every day. You are provided with multiple choices throughout the entire day. Take that choice, make that change. You've identified a problem. You're saying you're rock bottom. Got it. You're there now. There's only one way, and it's up. So change your mindset. Use that choice and go a freaking different direction. Love y'all. Faceman VTT out.
Day 3 of retirement. As an infantryman, I was asked if I could clean the sink. So let's look at this. Definitely some kind of grime on there. And I open up the cabinet. What do I use? Nothing comes to mind. Like my experience is my skill set. Nothing. Wait a minute. Everyone knows this is how you clean everything. Infantry, retired.
You can just take it.
Would you like a military discount?
Do you offer one?
Honestly, cap of the day.
Thank you.
CC's Pizza is the county fair of restaurants. You go in there, you look around, you feel a little bit better about yourself, then you realize that you're in there too. Tell me I'm wrong. Well, let's be honest. You know, not everybody's made for this life. It's scary. You know, you gotta jump out of a plane while it's moving. That's not natural. It's high, it's fucking wet outside sometimes. It's snowy, it's hot, it's dry, it's shitty. Who the fuck would want to be airborne? Best job I ever had.
This is the Veteran Trash Talk Hour, hosted by Nick, Dave, and Buddy. Real warriors making fun of other real warriors. Try to not get triggered.
Happy Saturday, everybody. Welcome to episode 124 of the Trash Talk Hour. Special guest today is Steve Sax, founder of the Captain John J. Sax Foundation. And also we are joined by Jeff with Urban Paws Service Dogs. And as usual, I'm here with the Big Earl and Buddy. Happy Saturday, everybody. What's going on?
What's up? Yeah.
Hey, Chris is in the background. The Asian is in the background.
Yeah, the fake Asian in the background because he sounds smarter if he's Asian.
Yeah, right.
He's not.
It also weirds me out when you say it's just Nick and I, and I'm like, wait, but you're here and Chris is here.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people here, you know. And then Rob saying hi on the chat. We got Amanda saying hi. Everybody's chiming in. Good. Thanks to hang out with you guys. We love it. You know, it's our
What's
therapy.
up, Bobby Lee?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, so this is we're not going to do the conspiracy theory. We had an interesting development this week, and everybody knows that one of my favorite people in the world is Karen Costello, and she's helped me. She's been on the show before. She's helped me personally. She's about to help my family, and she sent me something on a text, and she's like, "Have you ever heard of Steve Sax?" And I go, "Yes, I have," and. You know, and I knew about his son as well. I knew about that incident, and I realized, like, wow, they need help promoting this. And I was like, well, wait, but this ends like tomorrow. And I'm like, so like, shoot, I wish I would have had my hands on this. But Steve will get into it. You know, he lost his son in a training accident, and along with 4 other Marines. Mm-hmm. Right, 4 other Marines flying the Ospreys, and we've talked about this on the show before, and you know, we've talked about our own struggles with like survivor's guilt, and you know, all the things that encompass. You know, it doesn't have to be a combat death. It doesn't matter when somebody dies or how they die. It's in service to our country. They were training for war. They were training to defend everybody, and something went wrong. And that's just, God, I remember, you know, I think about it. I remember like my mom, you know, every time I was deployed, and then especially my wife after I got married, when I was deployed, when that phone rang, every time their heart freaking dropped, you know, and you never, and if you're struggling with survivor's guilt, you don't think about, because it is kind of selfish, right? You're not thinking about, you know, the Gold Star families. And like on the fight show last night, Bill is a big sponsor of Gold Star Teen Adventures, where we send money to Gold Star Teen Adventures to help them take the kids out and do great things, because we always say until Valhalla, and, you know, on Memorial Day, we'll remember them. It's like, well, why don't we remember them every day?
All the time. We don't need a day to do it.
Right, every day. Yeah. And then we also forget about the families that are left behind, all right, the children. And I say we, like, I'm one of those guys too, where it's like, do we actually think about the families? You know, obviously if we were friends with the person, then yes, right? But we don't have to wait till Memorial Day. And that's why I was super excited to see that there's a foundation getting started in your son's name, Steve. And if we can do anything to help launch it, which we are doing right now, obviously, but it would be a great honor for you to, you know, talk about your son and talk about the foundation that you're starting. I know you got to get going, but welcome to the Trash Talk Hour, Steve. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, gentlemen. I appreciate being here. And we just launched my son's foundation on Monday, May 1st. We have Armed Forces Day in the middle of the month, and then, of course, Memorial Day at the end. And we felt that this would be a great month to really launch the foundation. So we've done that. And it's called the Captain John J. Sax Foundation. So a little bit about my son is he was, you know, I don't have enough time to talk about him, but I could just tell you, he was the closest person in the world to me. My son was just an unbelievable person. He was if you think about a prototypical great Marine, that was my son. He was full of honor. He was the most respectful, kind, selfless. He would give the shirt off his back. He took that pledge to give his life to protect people, and he meant it. And he would have done it at any stage of his career. That's the kind of a man he was. He was a great father. He was a very happy guy. He was the hardest working guy you'd ever meet. He was very intelligent, and he was just the greatest guy ever. And he was very handsome too. Boy, he was an extremely handsome young man.
Took after the mother.
Took after the mom?
Took after the mother, yeah. Took after me. And the funny thing about it is, when Johnny and I were like coming out of high school, and you could track it, you know, by his pictures, we looked absolutely identical to each other. And but he got the handsome part, not me. And I tell him all the time, I say, John, geez, just look, when you grow up, you're gonna look just like me, unfortunately. And he's like, oh God, please no. But he was, Johnny was the hardest working young man you'd ever meet in your life. And he was very, very proud to be a Marine. He loved his country. And he was just an amazing person,
Yeah. What was the motto of his unit?
The unit that he was with was the Purple Foxes, and the unit's motto was "Give a shit." It's the only aircraft in all the armed forces, I believe, that have a swear word on it. And the genesis of this came from Vietnam, when the Purple Foxes went in and rescued some guys that had they had no chance of getting out, and the Purple Foxes rescued them. And one of the guys said, "Man, it's nice to see that you guys really care a lot about us." He says, "No, we give a shit," and that's how the whole thing got started with that motto.
Give a shit.
Yep, that was it. That was it. Yeah. So
obviously, go ahead, Nick. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Dave.
No, I was just going to talk about. So obviously, you went through this tremendous loss with your son, and rest in peace, obviously. And then you just started this organization. So tell the people that are watching right now what this organization does. Obviously, it's for your son, but how can people donate? Where can they find it? Just talk about that a little bit.
Well, they can go to the Captain John J. Sax Foundation.org. And they can donate right there on the site. That's already been launched. And what it does is we're going to raise money to help other aviators that may have had some issues, may have had some troubles, maybe they went through a hardship like our family has gone through, to help the family. And it doesn't have to be just a person flying a plane. It could be somebody that's aspiring to be an astronaut or whatever it may be. Somebody that's passionate about flight. That's what we're going to do to help these people out. And my son would be very proud of this. I'm sure he would, because he was so passionate about flying. He absolutely loved to fly. And I can tell you that I'm waiting for the report to come back, the official report. I already know that it was a mechanical accident. If Johnny could come back, he would be in the Osprey the next day. He loved flying the Osprey. He was an absolute expert at flying this plane, and he was the co-pilot in this flight. And they were doing a training mission down in Southern California with another Osprey. Mm-hmm. The captain, they're both captains. My son, as well as the pilot of the flight, was Captain Nicholas Lasapio, who was regarded, as the Marine Corps said, once in a generation pilot. He was actually getting groomed to fly Air Force One.
Wow.
He handpicked my son to fly and be his partner. That's how good Lasapio and my son were. And so, this whole issue of the plane going down, I'm waiting for the report, but I've already heard, and I know that this was a mechanical accident. And it's tough because the Osprey is a very difficult plane to fly with the combination of helicopter and plane. It doesn't glide well at all. There's no chance for that. This plane had a checkered past when it first started. It had some accidents early, but lately, in the last several years, it was actually the safest plane in the Marine flight in the whole Corps.
Wow.
So a lot of people would say to me, "Well, that's such a dangerous plane to fly." Yeah, but not lately. They figured a lot of things out, and there was a plane crash in March, and then of course my son's happened in June. So maybe it was coming back again to the bad side of it. But when I get the report, I'll have it for sure. But it's something you wake up with every single day. It's never gets any easier. And I guess I hope to deal with it someday. I know I got to get some help, and I will. But
good.
Yeah,
Steve.
that good point. Go ahead, buddy.
Go ahead, buddy.
Hey, so I've had a little bit of experience with losing somebody non-combat. And can you talk about how? So for me, it's when your son or your friend is gone to combat, at some
Boston.
We lost him there.
Yeah. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah. I don't know what Buddy was going to finish with saying there, but along the same lines of, dealing with the loss. And we talk about it all the time on this show, and we'll reconnect after the show, Steve, as well, for, somebody who's really good at coaching this, an old Ranger commander buddy of mine. And he works with professional athletes all the time. So he'll meet right in with you. And that's the beauty of veteran trash talk, is that we've become large enough to where we know people everywhere now, and we have people to just, if I need to send somebody somewhere, I know where to send them, and to include myself. Mm-hmm. And all right, Buddy's back. But yeah,
hopefully I'm back and you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you. So we lost you. We lost you at about where you said I've dealt with losing somebody not in a combat experience.
Yeah. So somewhere in your, I can imagine as a father, I know as another soldier or leader, I can understand at some point when they're in combat, or when somebody that you love is in combat, somewhere in your soul you understand that they might not come back, and you deal with that.
Right.
When they're in training or when they're back home and then something happens, it's a completely different thing, because they were supposed to be safe. They were supposed to be like, it's
right.
just training, or it's just, and I feel like in a lot of ways, even the military looks at it like it's a completely separate thing from dying in combat because you weren't in combat. Mm-hmm. How have you tried to deal with the fact that he was supposed to be safe, he was supposed to be okay, and then getting that phone call that you expect it at some level, you expect it when they're in combat, you never expect it when they're not.
Yes, and to try to capsulize it, I found out as the Marines knocked on my door. It wasn't a phone call. They knocked on my door. I went to bed at 9:10, and at 9:15 they knocked on my door. That's how I found out. But I knew that there was an incident. I didn't know to what extent. I found out during the day, and then at night they came to the door. But I gained a little bit of solace in knowing that I talked to my second grade catechism teacher's Sister Michael. And she's such a wise lady. She's 86 years old and looks like she's about 50. And she's amazing. And she told me that, along answering your question, is that my son lived exactly as long as he was supposed to live. His life and our lives are ordained, and the Lord had a plan for him. And he made it a tremendous impact on the time that he was here. He died loving. He died doing what he loved to do. And so I understand that somewhat, but I don't understand why it happened, and not having him here is just a daily thing, But she did tell me that, he's in a much better place than we are. And someday I will see him again, exactly as I saw him when he was here. So I know that's going to happen. I believe in that. I have a tremendous amount of faith.
I've got to tell you how much, to be a little bit selfish, but how much better that makes me feel about the way that, so along the same lines, definitely not in the same vein as a father losing his son. I had a really great medic that went to medical school. The rest of the team deployed, and I got the call that he had gotten killed in a car accident, and I felt exactly the same way. And then finally came to the same conclusion that, in the 33 years that he was alive,
same as my son,
he absolutely did everything that he ever wanted to do, and he was continuing to do it. Like, he was killing it. I mean, he was doing such a great. Like, he was an SF guy. He was going to be a doctor. He had, everything he did, he excelled at. And he crushed as much things into 33 years. He did more in 33 years than most people do in their entire lives.
Yeah, I hear you, brother. I hear you. And it's confounding how the Lord takes the best ones early. I mean, they must have needed these two people in heaven a lot, And I know that he's got my mom and dad's arms around him, and I know that that he's comforted by them. I know that.
Yeah, faith definitely helps.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, and go ahead, buddy.
No, I'm just. I mean, to be honest, I'm a father also, and it's hard. It's hard to listen to another dad.
Yeah, and we were talking before the show. A guy saved my life. That he was a monster among men to me. He was an E6 staff sergeant. I was a young E4. I was stupid, and he grabbed me by the collar, and I was 210 pounds of solid rip, buddy. You know what I'm saying? Like just jacked. And like, he grabbed me by the collar with one arm and threw me like I weighed 5 pounds. Right. And he's he was a legend to us, and like we all looked up to him. And then, you were great friends with Stanley too, that died. And, and it's like, you watch those legends go down, and it's like, well, if they're going down, that morale just starts to freaking plummet.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, if they're going down, then like,
I honestly have gotten to the point where I think that those ones go down so that the rest of us can get a little bit of humble pie and see that, we need to try to strive to be at their standard, like Stan, Woodcock, any of those guys. And then,
Morley and Willis,
try
the way they ran their sniper teams. Yeah.
Yeah. You try to meet those standards, knowing that those people who, to be honest, are better than you. Woodcock was better than me. Stanley is better than me.
Yeah, Stanley
Always
was
was.
a beast, man.
Yeah, and you try to meet their standard, but you probably are never going to. But
Yeah.
it gives you something that you have to live up to. That if they didn't, if they had never died, then it would be like, oh well, they're there to take over. Like they're still doing it. I don't have to really do anything. I can continue doing what I was doing. You know what I mean? But since they're gone, you know that you have to.
You got to carry on their legacy. Yeah,
Well,
you
you
got to carry on their
step it up.
legacy.
You have to be what they were. And it doesn't make it okay. It just gives you something that you have to strive for.
Yeah. And again, that's what, when it encompasses to like healing and growing, is you have to acknowledge the facts, right? The constants. And, the facts and the constants is we're never going to forget. It's not going to go away. Like that's something that it is what that's it. All right. And
Hey guys, I had a guy, if I may say, because I'm going to forget this. I wanted to tell you right along the lines what you're saying, Nick, is I met a friend of mine at a restaurant. I saw him there, and he had another guy with him. And I was getting some food to go, and I was sitting in the booth, and the guy came over to me, and he said, "I know about your son." And he said, "I just wanted you to know that I lost my son 2 years ago at about the same age as your son was, 33. And he said, I just want you to know that it's never going to get any easier. Never. But, and you know what? At least I really respected what he told me, because at least I know that he told me from a grounding experience, what the fact was. And I can't deal with something I don't know about, but if it's something factual, maybe I can, and I had a guy come up to me in the grocery store. I never met him before in my life, never saw him before. And he came up to me and he just walked right up to me and he shook my hand and he just grabbed my shoulder and he left. He didn't say a word to me, never said a word, and I never met him before, but I know what he meant. I know what he was saying to me. And those things are pretty powerful,
Yeah, absolutely. And, what you're doing in your son's name is something that, will impact lives forever. And your son's name will always be attached to it. And that's the beauty of the veteran community and the Gold Star families is, and this is why I get angry at the veterans that have the survivor's guilt. But again, I've had it. That's why I get angry. And it's like, we can do everything that we can to think about ourselves, or we can make people better. And, it's a human dynamic. And, if Karen was on, she'd tell you, it's like, if I can find a purpose to make this into a positive thing as much as I can, which obviously
it's helpful too. It's helpful for you.
Right. The constant is not positive, but there's something that I can do to make, at least, hey, remember when you're flying, you remember Captain John, remember him, right? Like that's who's in the cockpit
if you're doing
with you.
something positive in the world.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
That's the whole nature of positivity grows everywhere.
Yes.
And it grows within you, and that's a helpful thing. And that's what I'm going to gain from this. I know I will.
And I asked Dutch's mom, I said, I go, what do you want me to do? Like when I'm feeling like a piece of shit, you know, over this. And I mean, this is years ago, but I'm like, what do you want me to do? And these guys all know it now because I'll post it on Facebook. But, you know, every March 5th, I'm drinking a Rolling Rock and having a T-bone.
Yeah.
Because that's what he drank. And, you know, and it's
Love
like,
it.
so I'm going to drink a Rolling Rock and have a T-bone. Okay, Mom, that's what I'm going to do. You know, and so, yeah, we don't have some people listening might have this shared experience with you, but we have the experience of losing our battle buddies, our brothers, you know, and our sisters. And what you're saying is so powerful to just shed light on what we're going to do in Captain John J. Sax's name. And so do you ever talk about it on your podcast?
Yes, I have. And by the way, my podcast name, if you want to tag it, is Sax. It's Sax in the Morning is the name of my podcast, because I encourage people to listen to the podcast in the morning. It's 3 to 5 minutes of a positive shot of emotional nutrition, or whatever you want to call it, to go into your workday, to listen to a very positive message Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then on Thursday, every other Thursday, we have a long form guest where we have somebody that everybody knows come on, and we listen to their positive message for about 25, 30 minutes. But my podcast isn't real long, but it's very powerful. And we just finished our 300th show.
Nice.
And so we're doing good. And I love the positive message. You know, it's not controversial. It's positive. And I hope people gain a lot out of that. That's why we call it Sax in the Morning.
I love it.
No, and we know you got to run. What game are you calling again?
The Sacramento River Cats are the Giants AAA team, and I do the Saturday home TV games for them. So I do a couple
Who
games.
are they playing?
What's that?
Who are they playing?
I think they're playing Oklahoma City, which is the Dodgers. I think they're playing the Dodgers tonight.
Doesn't matter who they're playing, buddy.
We don't even like the Dodgers, right?
Except in the 80s.
Yeah, I told these guys I hated the Dodgers growing up, but you know, then I got to they're a great organization, and they helped me a lot. So I got a lot of friends over there now. But I still like the Giants too. It's kind of a weird dichotomy, right?
Yeah,
for
sure.
Yeah.
But no, thank you so much for coming on
you.
and talking about your son's name and the legacy that you're going to build, and anything that we can do to support it. Just reach out to us. We 100% will.
Thank you
Our
guys.
show was never this quiet the first 30 minutes. So
Yeah.
definitely
the
ruffled some feathers, and you know, we got some comments, shedding some tears and everything. So
yeah.
Well, not me. There's by the way, that earlier, that was just allergies. There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, green berets don't cry.
yeah,
Right.
don't cry.
You can't have a John Wayne tattoo on your arm and cry. Okay,
Not at the same time.
not at the same time.
I want to thank you guys for having me on, though, because you guys are doing a great thing, and God bless all of you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it, gentlemen. Thank you.
We'll get you back
Anytime you want
on
me
too.
on, I'd love to come on.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll get
let's
you
do
back
it.
on, and we'll do a whole special. Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
anytime. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
You got it. Bye-bye.
All right.
All right. Wow.
Yeah. So for those of you watching who don't watch baseball, all right, that was Steve Sax. Okay, he was Rookie of the Year in Major League Baseball, 2-time World Series champion, I believe a 5-time All-Star. Maybe less than that, but either way, if you're a 1-time All-Star in Major League Baseball,
Is that
fine.
good?
That's okay. And as we get lighthearted on the show, as we do once in a while, because that we use humor to deal with what we're struggling with sometimes. But I put in the script that Buddy and I once won an intramural softball league championship, which is the same as a World Series. So pretty much
Basically identical. Yeah.
pretty much identical. But having him on and what he's struggling with, and again, just speaks to the volumes of the community that you guys are all of you that are watching later, listening on the podcast platforms. This community is how this happens. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm just sitting there, I'm retired now. I don't really have a job, even though they pay me. I don't really do anything, but it's like, all of a sudden I get a text from Karen, and it's like, hey, can you help this guy? And I'm like, help who? And then it's Steve Sax. I'm like, you want me to help Steve Sax? And it's like, I'll do the best that I can. like,
Yeah.
like, you know, and it's like, but again, what he's dealing with is something that, you know, every parent doesn't want to ever have to deal with.
That's
Like,
the absolute, just to think about, like, so my kid's 14 and wants to join the Army, and thinking about getting that phone call or those people knocking on the door. Oh my God, that's the worst. It's absolutely.
Yeah, Tyler just took the ASVAB. He's joining next year.
Yeah, I just to think about, like, you know, not even as a soldier, but as a father,
Right.
just thinking about say anything, let alone you know, when they're out doing it, you know, at the pinnacle of their life, and it's continuing to go up, and then losing them at that time. That's got to be it's hard. That's hard to deal with. It's hard to even think about.
yeah. And well, do we want to lighten it up a little bit, buddy, with an honesty cap?
We can.
I know.
I know Jeff is waiting too.
Jeff's waiting too.
I'm good. Let's go.
And here we go with the honest cap. You know who I feel bad for? Really? Other than, you know, of course, what we just talked about.
More sarcastically feeling bad for.
No, I actually do feel bad for
Okay.
any woman or any female that is 6 foot or higher. It's 6 foot, 6'1", 6'2", 6'3". I feel so bad for them because, first of all, like, you're 6'1" and you're, say, a gorgeous 6'1", like Amazonian.
I was gonna say
Amazonian beauty. You're just, wow. Like, you look at them and you're like, damn, that girl is beautiful. Already intimidating because she's taller than most of us, right? So that's already a thing that's detracting from being able to go talk to them. Now you have to, you have to run the equation of, like, all right, how do I talk to them and also figure out if they're a dude? Like, is that a 6'2" dude?
Adam's apple.
Because we have
Yep.
I don't know what the
They shave it. They have a surgery to shave it now.
I know.
They shave it. Like, you can't even tell anymore.
It's
Just
a
do the
cutter cut.
crocodile. Just do the crocodile Dundee.
Monica says, aren't all women
Okay.
taller than Buddy?
At one point, first of all,
Crocodile Dundee taught us that in the
I'm
80s, man.
9.5. So most women are already like we're at the same level, or you know, some of them are above me. That goes without saying. But I'm not opposed to a tall Amazonian lady. Like, they are gorgeous.
But you are now.
Well, you are now.
And they're
Cautious
also
now.
not a
I hope your French fiance isn't watching this right now, buddy. Yeah,
You're
here we
yelling,
go.
and nobody can hear you when you're yelling, buddy.
That was yelling at the computer.
You know,
Again,
and you made fun of the big Earl for having the same Book of Earl all the time. You just can't get off this trend.
Yeah, welcome to the dumpster fire.
You can't get off this transgender thing ever, can you? You just can't get off of it.
She's the same height as I am.
The Bud Light really got to you.
Don't tell her I said this, but she may be even a little bit taller. That being said, it's not like I can't appreciate. I own paintings, but I still could go to the Louvre and see the Mona Lisa.
You don't
and
own a
appreciate
single
it.
painting.
You know what
You
I
don't
mean?
own a single painting.
Oh, dude, I have
Finger
so
paintings
many
don't
paintings in
count.
my house. I'll show you the paintings
100%.
in my house.
You never bought
I
a painting.
have-
You might have bought a house with a painting in it, but you have never bought a painting.
Yeah, I don't think you've ever bought
I
a
have
painting
Not
either.
a chance.
You want to bet money? How much are we betting? How much are we betting?
I want to see like an actual. I'll bet you drinks at Dave's party. I'll bring whatever
Okay.
bottle you want. But I gotta
You bring all the bottles because you just lost, my friend.
How are you gonna prove that you got receipts that are like actual legit paintings? We're not talking about
You're getting into where I'm going to win. You're getting in.
We're
not talking about Dollar
going
General fucking wall art. Like, we want to see an actual painting.
First of all, fuck you,
Got his
Chris.
son's
What my-
pictures on the refrigerator. That does not count.
Great does count. He's an artist, guys. What are you talking about, Chris? You son of a bitch.
To the audience listening, you can't hear Chris, but
You
Chris
can't-
definitely.
But he's talking a lot of
Just
shit.
Well, you can't hear
Buddy in
you
the
can't hear
side.
Buddy right now either because he's just yelling and angry again.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, yes, Chris, I I do have pictures, both of that my child has painted in the first
That's
grade.
good, though.
And
Dude, this is great. Bobby Lee says, somebody catch me up on this dumpster fire. I missed it. What's going on? And then Amanda right under him goes, Amazonians, transgenders, and paintings.
Somebody catch me up with this dumpster fire.
Yeah. Thank you.
Just Buddy getting roasted.
Yeah. Everything that Nick just said. Thanks, Dave, for rereading that. Anywho.
Oh, Amanda, that was hilarious. Yeah.
It is so. I feel so bad for them. Like they're never going to get hit on again because nobody knows whether it's okay to hit on them. Like you can't even go up.
No, Dave. I will side with Buddy on this a little bit. I was at the track meet again. So again, last year there was somebody who looked like a guy because it was a guy running in girl races, winning by about 80 meters on every race. You know, and
Texas?
it was like and so but they were in New Mexico school.
Oh,
competing in Texas. So then I
said Texas wouldn't allow that.
You know me. I posted about this. I go right to the school board.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not happening next year. And that dude is now running with dudes this year. Yes, he looks like more of a girl, but he's running with dudes. Because
how's he doing against the dudes?
He's doing okay. He's fast, you know. But it's like, that's what you're not supposed to beat people by a lap, right? Like that's really cool. Like, good job, dude. Right, you're a dude. But so here's the problem that Buddy's talking about, which I agree with him, is when I see somebody like a female who's athletic, right, and they maybe have a little muscle tone. Now it's like there's a little spark in the brain that goes, "Is that a dude?"
Oh,
like is that a dude?
I have a second guess and everything now.
Yeah,
exactly. Like you don't know whether and it's just a weird conversation starter to be like, hey, like I just came over because
what does the world come to?
You're very attractive, and on my first level, attractiveness is how I first want to approach you. But
like every man in this world, I don't care what you say, if you're some kind of poet, we look at you first.
Yeah, I mean that's the first impression. Whether my eyes and my brain go, hey, there's something tingling down below, like. But if I walk up to you, do I walk up to you and say, hey, I was just saying you're very attractive. Do you have a penis? Because that is a showstopper for me. If you do, that's fine. I appreciate what you're doing. Go ahead, live your life. But for me personally, I don't like to, I don't want to move anything out of the way to be able to
have fun.
Oh.
Right. So like
enjoy after.
So I saw a meme today, you know, where it's like, you know, it's got the guy with his hands in his head and they're like the wife's behind him, like it's okay. And it's like where she says, you know, a small penis isn't a bad thing. And then he goes, not on you though.
Wow. I've seen that one.
Okay,
and
we're
good.
Anyway.
So buddy, what's the point?
It doesn't, in fact, just, and I'm going to tell a little story here. It's going to be real quick. But at one point, I was in a foreign country. I hadn't slept a lot, and my medic didn't know he was separated from the group, had like a face mask on and then his helmet. And we all stood up on top of this building, and we looked down, and we saw him. And let me say that my SF team, prettiest eyes in like all of SF, the entire team, you'd get lost in our eyes. Beautiful eyes.
That's part of the prerequisite.
That is long hair, good looks. Yeah.
Yeah. All we could see was his eyes.
Obviously
and
not
a
tall,
little bit of his hair kind of coming out. He wasn't that tall.
Yeah.
Anyway, we all were standing up there and we're like, how did a girl get on camp? Because there were no girl. We were like, that is a beautiful woman. And then he took his thing off and we could see his beard. And we were like, Caleb, put your shit back on.
You look way better with that back on.
And he's yelling, put your shit away.
Oh, shit. Dave had a joke. That was actually funny as fuck.
Yeah,
it was.
I laughed.
How do we navigate this world now where like you can't even go to somebody and say, hey, you are a really beautiful lady, and not know that they don't have a 9-inch clitoris?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I mean,
well,
at least we'll be able to find it. You know, years.
Spend years looking for it. Yeah.
She hates it. She's like, I was like, you don't even have one. It's not even a real thing. Everybody knows it's a myth.
Oh.
But anyways, let's get to our second guest.
Welcome, Jeff.
Which is perfect because going back to the serious part when we started the show, and again, that foundation just launched on Monday. So if you can go help the Captain John J. Sax Foundation.org, anything you can do. Literally, Steve auctioned off his World Series rings, his Rookie of the Year award, the jersey he wore when he hit a home run off of Eckersley in the World Series, like Hall of Famer. He hits the home run off of him. Like he's selling the jersey he wore in that game, right? Like those are some of the most prized possessions of his career. But obviously, the most prized thing he ever did was have a son named John. Like that's the importance of this. So if you can go help that, help it. And I'm going to call out, now that, it's probably harder to talk when Steve's on, but I'm going to call anybody who, bought those rings or bought that jersey. I really hope you send them back to them, right? I like that would be the right thing to do. If I had $25,000 to buy it, I'd buy it right now and send the thing right freaking back to them. But sorry, Big Earl ain't got the $25,000 in cash, but we're working on it. You guys buy some shirts, maybe it'll happen. But he was talking about he needs a new dog, right? And we all know Steve's in a hard place right now, and I'm pretty sure a dog would be freaking tremendous for him, right? And so just like I got my dog laying right here, she's not trained, but she's just lazy. But no, she's, she'll come up and she'll say hi to you, right? Yeah, exactly. Like
Mine's upstairs.
She'll love you. And, that's just, the dogs are awesome. And there's nobody on this panel that doesn't understand what dogs do for people. Buddy's good friend has two of your friends have dog camps, don't they? There's just one. You're muted, so at least you're not yelling, so we probably would have heard you.
I actually just muted. Yeah. We got a couple buddies that have
124 episodes. Still can't figure out the fucking mute button, but it's fine.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
You know what the best thing about dogs is, by the way? You can be having your absolute shittiest, worst day.
Yep.
Where you can't share your feelings or emotions, especially as a guy. You can't really share what you're feeling. I have 3 dogs. One of them is like my best dog is a little, what the hell was that noise?
I don't know.
Anyway.
That was my dog. That's a husky. She talks to you. Like, why are you playing with me? Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, I got a little schnauzer that will come up and just kind of like put her fucking nose in my face. Doesn't matter what's going on. I can be at my very worst. And that little fucking dog is the most perfect animal on the fucking face of the planet. You can talk to them. They don't judge you. They don't talk shit to you.
Like this panel right here.
Yeah. Just pet their ears and tell them all of the things you're not allowed to say in public, and they're fine with it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so perfect segue into Jeff, who was a peace officer. And again, I'll always tell this story because Dave's usually not right against me, but he was right with this one. Like, at first I didn't want to, incorporate the first responders right away. And when we started our thing, and, then we had Book and Bridges on, then we had Shootman on, who was a veteran and a police officer, talking about things. And we've had multiple first responders on now. And Buddy says it the best, to where, we put on our kit, we go fight a war, we come back. Sometimes, our mission would last a week, maybe we get 2 weeks off and then we go back out again. And then we go to garrison and yada, yada. The first responders, and I don't want to hear any liberal bullshit about there's so bad. There's some bad people everywhere in every job. Okay.
Yeah, every organization.
Everywhere. Okay. But the peace officers, the firefighters, the paramedics, all right. And then when you have, a large population dying, and then, and a disease, you got nurses, all right, you got doctors, and it's like, these people they're human beings, right? And they're doing things for service. They're doing things to make you safer. And you don't think when they put on that vest every day that they don't think they might not come home? right? And for those of you who throw out that PTSD blanket word, right, like it's all encompassing to make you a jackass, right? Maybe you need to get a dog. All right. And then maybe you need to, calm the fuck down a little bit. But turning that a little sideways. But we got Jeff from Urban Paws. All right. And, he was supposed to have his boss on here, but he was unavoidably detained. Okay. So,
Not a bad way.
Yeah. Jeff
Detained. Does he know his rights?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But
Well, he's a retired cop too, so.
Just tell everybody he's a sovereign citizen. He'll be all right.
Oh yeah, I'm a sovereign citizen. Oh hell, well,
yeah,
you're gonna get these California cops all riled up real fast.
Yeah.
So with that one, but no, Jeff, welcome to the Dumpster Fire. Tell us about your organization. Tell us about being a cop and how you got involved and all the things that it provides, and it's yours.
Yeah, thanks, guys. No, I appreciate it very much, and hard to follow Steve and his story with his son, but I appreciate you getting me on. I'm a retired police sergeant, local agency out here in the San Francisco Bay Area. I was involved in a fatal officer involved shooting back in 2010 that took its toll on myself, my partner. We ended up retiring from it. And after that, worked some part-time jobs here and there. Actually, sold guns for a little while, which is so much fun in California.
I was gonna say,
yeah,
not a very lucrative business. I mean, I know some guys. I know some guys. I know some guys that can get you around the on the dark side.
Yeah, exactly.
They're a little more successful with that.
Yeah. No, so I just kicked around some stuff for a little while, trying to get back into the workforce, suffering from the stuff that came from the shooting. Ended up working my now retired dog as a bomb dog for about 7 years, so for a private security company, and just retired from that. My boss now, Dave, who was going to join us, he was actually one of my cops at the agency we both worked at one point. He ended up getting out of law enforcement due to an injury as well, and has a transportation company in the Bay Area, which is a real successful company. So as part of him doing well in his business world, plus suffering from PTS, like a lot of us do, his greatest venture right now is to give back to you guys, vets, to first responders out here in our community. And what we're doing is we're breeding, we're raising, and we're training these service dogs to give to recipients free of charge. Now we have 5 dogs out, and they're already paired with people. They're 6 months old, our first litter. And we do it a little differently at Urban Paws. We are actually pairing the dogs from 4.5 months old with their recipient. And what we are doing is our trainer will work with our recipients, and they're training their dogs from start to finish. Together.
Yeah.
Nice. And the bond that's being created with these young dogs and their recipients is amazing. I have a Vietnam veteran Marine who, was struggling. And we got him this dog, and I can tell you, just in the first couple months he's had him, I see a smile. I see a guy who's able to get out, having fun, having another mission, right? Now I'm doing his thing, training this dog, and it's a beautiful thing. I was with him yesterday. He came down to our office yesterday, and it's nice to see. So we are fully nonprofit. We are always looking for donations, to fund this mission. We really are having a lot of fun connecting. We have some local nonprofits out here that we're connected up with, now connecting with you guys and getting the message out over your bandwidth and your airwaves is amazing. But we're excited, man. We're all either retired cops or, veterans of some sort or suffering from something. So we're helping each other, and these dogs are amazing, man. I tell you, you don't even realize it when you're having one of those days, and we all have them. When the dog jumps up on your lap and pushes against you a little bit, gives you, nibbles on your hand or something, takes your mind off that moment and, brings you back to being present again. So our mission is to get as many dogs to as many first responders and vets as we can. We hope to keep growing and growing and growing to do that. So that's about, in summary, what we're doing.
So Jeff, a question to that for everybody that's watching, because we got people all across the U.S. I mean, we have people that tune in from other countries, but mainly from the U.S. Is this just California based right now?
Europe again.
Is this just California based? So if somebody, let's say in Michigan, is watching now and it would be interested to, become part of your program and get a dog from you guys, is that a possibility? Or are you guys focusing right now on, your AO and then, expanding hopefully to something even bigger?
Yeah, primarily right now we're staying close to home. Just because it's our first litter of pups, we want to make sure they're good to go. But yeah, the ultimate goal is to expand and to be available for anybody who needs it. I really think we're going to get there. But yeah, that's what we'd like to do. I know the founder Dave, his heart is huge, and if he can help somebody anywhere, he will do it. So it's amazing. Yeah, we'd love to do that.
And it's a specific breed, or you guys do all kinds of dogs, or do you guys focus on like German Shepherds or Labs or?
Right now we have Lab Retriever mixes. Our next litter will likely be Labradoodles mix. Yeah. But yeah, we're sticking with the floppy ears for the most part. We might go pointy ear at some point, but I think in general, folks that are looking for service dogs, absent law enforcement and military people that have work dogs or been around the military working dogs type of thing, they like the floppy ears, the little bit softer side of things. So that's where we're at right now, but you never know down the road.
Hey, a good comment from Hirsch, who was just a guest last week with the Hirsch shit show. So I told her, stop yelling at us. She's like, how do we donate to you? How do people go about supporting this?
Yeah, no, thank you so much. You can go to our website. It's www.urbanpawssf.org. There's a donation tab there. That's the best way to do it. 100% goes to the dogs, to the training, to the upkeep. We also are working on a merch site, so we'll have hoodies and hats and just about everything that you should be able to buy. We hope to get that up soon. And we're doing fundraisers. We have our first annual fundraiser set for August. Got a couple guests already lined up, got some amazing items to auction. So we'll either do that in person or online. We're not quite sure yet, but the primary way to donate is to hit us up on our website and hit the donation tab.
Nice. With that, when you get that fundraiser set up, make sure you send it to me, and then we'll put it out on our platform for sure.
Yeah.
With that, and then like again with dogs, and I've talked about my struggles with what my main purpose of going to see a psychologist for. I go see my shrink because I lose my temper with my children very quickly, very very quickly. I don't abuse them because I'm not an asshole, right? But like
well, you are an asshole, but you don't.
No. See, we covered that early before the show. No, I'm a prick sometimes, but like if I'm telling you you're wrong, it's because you're wrong. It's not maybe an asshole. But no, like today, I got angry with my youngest because we got to get up early for the track meet, 5:30 in the morning, right? And they want to start having an attitude, and I'm sitting here like, these kids, man, I'm about to go drive you 50 minutes, and whatever, what's going on? And as soon as I start getting upset, guess who starts coming right by me?
Yeah.
Right? All of a sudden, here comes Morley.
Yeah.
Morley come walking right up. And I'm sitting there like, yeah, that's why you're here.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just, they're so powerful. Powerful.
And the dogs are so, they're saying now, I just heard it the other day that the dog's brain makeup and chemical makeup is as close to being human as any other animal. And it's crazy how intuitive they are when they just, and you don't even realize it half the time that they're there. They're touching you, they're there feeling your situation. So it's, the dogs are incredible. And I've worked a dog as a police officer and as in private security, and you guys have probably been around them. The things they can do, the stuff that they can smell and they can sense, it's awesome. That's why this is so rewarding, is to be able to give that tool to someone that maybe hasn't had that support. I went to the VA the other day and had a meeting with them, our local VA, and they didn't have a program with dogs.
No shit.
Right.
Yeah,
and
that would make too much sense to take away from the drugs.
Right. And I was actually kind of surprised. I had heard that, but they were very excited to hopefully partner with us and maybe get a couple people out of their office to sign up. So, the sky's the limit with this. The dogs are amazing, and we have so many people that need help. That I think for me, like, I've had my career, I've had all that shit in the past. This for me is something that I know I use and I can use, and I know other
Give
people
back.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where Dave and I are at. I mean, I'm the fundraiser, donor relations guy. Dave's the head of this, and Dana, our trainer. All of our hearts are into giving back to those of us that have gone through some really bad stuff. So, it's a pretty cool mission, man. I'm really happy to be a part of it.
And for anybody that's watching in your area right now, is there a current wait list? So let's say there's a viewer that's in your area right now. Is like, hey, I want one of these dogs. He goes to the website. Okay.
Yeah, go on the website. It is under construction, some parts of it, but our application process, if you get your application turned in, it comes directly to me. We will go through the app and establish a list. If we get people signing up now, they will have to wait till the next litter, which will be in August. But yeah, we'd love to have a list and start getting these people these dogs, because that would be amazing. That would be amazing.
Heck yeah.
That's awesome. Well, hey, I think. Well, hey, before I go to the AAR, tell us a fun cop story. Don't tell us a bad one. Tell us a fun one. I know every cop has one. Like, well, I'll break the ice. So my brother-in-law is a detective in Burbank, right? And he said that he responded to a fire call when he was a young patrolman, right? Like, there's a fire in this apartment complex, and he's cherry's on. I mean, he's
shout out to French, huh?
Yeah, he's about to be a hero. It's like that. Like, he's thinking like, I'm gonna get in there and I'm gonna save some people and some cats and dogs or whatever. And this apartment's on fire, right? So he runs in there because he's a paratrooper and then he's a cop now. Like, he runs in there, like, no questions asked. And there's this like 480-pound dude. Right. And he's like, I'll never forget this. He's like, the first thing I saw was Cheetos. Right. Like, he's got this giant thing of Cheetos. And he's like, can you move? And he's like, nope. And he's like, oh, he's like, you got it. Can you move at all? Like this, like the place is on fire, and he's like, I guess it's my time.
Damn.
It's like he's like, thank God, like, more people were right behind him, and they get in there,
and they all moved him. Yeah, they all grabbed him.
He's like, but he's like, in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna be this hero. I'm gonna save somebody, and all of a sudden, pow! It's a Jerry Springer got to lift you out of there, or Maury Povich. I need a crane to lift you out of the house while this thing's on fire.
Man.
It's like,
I would say I don't have anything that funny, but I'd say there was one night where I was cover on a call. It was a domestic call at one of our hotels, and the suspect, the male half, had escaped in a vehicle. They put the vehicle description out. I ended up finding the vehicle, and I pulled the guy over and detained him. Right. Well, long story short, female victim's injured, has a rather large imprintation, if you will, or bruise on her face. And they sent me a photo of it and said, hey, find out what's going on with this guy and how this happened. Because she was kind of stunned. She didn't really know what hit her, basically. And so I asked him, I said, so you got into a situation with your wife, huh? Yeah. And I said, okay, well, did it get physical? Yeah, I got physical. I go, well, how did it get physical? What went on? Did she hit you? You hit her? Yeah, I hit her with a smoova. And I said, what? I go, you hit her with what? And he goes, a smoova. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean? He goes, the thing you smooth your clothes out with. And I said, an iron.
Holy shit.
He goes, yeah, the smoova.
Go ahead and turn around real quick.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I was like, oh shit. So yeah, that was one of the highlights, man. I'll never forget that guy. He was pretty funny, man.
I hit her with the smoother. Like, she was
like
shit.
Yeah, I hit her.
Yeah, right.
Jesus.
I had no idea what he was talking about.
There was no denying it or anything. He was just like,
yeah. He went to jail. That was easy. Good. That was easy. Yeah. Oh man.
The smoother. I'm going to use that. I'm going to
Yeah,
talk.
me too.
I'm going to
I want to make a
today.
meme. I'm going to make a meme or a shirt. The
You have
smoother.
to.
Yeah, Hirsch
Use the
said that.
smoother.
Hirsch said that the smoother sounds better. I'm stealing it. So, like,
Yeah.
what are you using? I'm using the smoother over here. It's the smoother.
Smooth my clothes. I like that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but
Yeah.
before I get into the
Something to
AAR, I
that.
guess I could just make it the AAR. Is, you know, I saw an interesting post about first responders. You know, when it comes to anyone who thinks that you shouldn't respect first responders, or that you want to watch the news and get all fired up, or you want to be a fucking liberal or even a far right winger who doesn't respect them. Remember, the bell curve goes both ways, right? Like, they're the only ones that are saving you from law-abiding citizens. They are the ones that are preventing people who have their shit together from coming and taking you out. All right. And you just heard this story where he just told you that's their daily life. They run into people who don't have their shit together, right? Like, at all. Right. Now, we all lose our shit once in a while, but like these people don't have it at all. And I'm sure if we went another 2 hours, he could tell you 10 stories of where he ran into the same people over and over and over again. Right. Like, they get a call to an address. They're like, oh shit. Right. Like, no, like, they are like, those of you who think you can do whatever you want, the reason you can do whatever you want is because first responders stand in the way of those who know what the right thing to do is. Okay. They stand in the way of you losing all of your shit, to include everything. So big shout out to the first responders, part of the AAR. They are amazing human beings.
Yep.
All right.
And yes, there's bad apples everywhere,
yes,
but that
bad
doesn't make
apples
up, you know,
everywhere. But you're going to use some talking point that is pointless and is going to go in and out of the ears of anybody who's actually intelligent. All right. So yeah. And dogs are God's, you know, gift to us
100%.
to where, you know, there's no way that they were made by accident to be as awesome as they were. And now we found a way to train them to do even more things. Right. Like, it's that. So we learned that. We also had Steve Sax on the show. So check out his podcast. All right. What was the tag on that again? It was Sax. I wrote
Sax in the morning. Sax in the morning.
Sax in the morning. So check out Sax in the morning. Again, we just had a 2-time World Series champion on the show. Right. And unfortunately, it was because he lost his son, a Marine Osprey pilot, you know, that, you know, died in a training accident last year. And he started a foundation in his name. So if you can go to Captain John J. Sax Foundation.org.
Yep.
All right. And make this possible so that people can benefit off of his name and off of what his father was able to accomplish and now giving up to make that foundation. All right. And again, those of you who don't understand pro sports or how good people are that get to that level, how much hard work and dedication he put in, I'm telling you right now, if you put most of the average people like myself, all right, if you put in half of the work that he put in his life, probably pretty freaking successful. All right. And that dude did everything he could to get where he needed to be. And he's auctioning off all those items that rewarded his work to start a foundation in his son's name, a Marine that was an awesome pilot. And I can't wait to have Steve back on the show and do all that. And to end it on a light note, Buddy, his honesty cap, you know, we make, like, I kind of agree with Buddy a lot sometimes, but Bud Light really got to him, right? He can't get off this transgender thing. Like, I think his last 4 honesty caps are about transgenders. Like, he just can't get off of it.
He's texting us nonstop about it, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, you know.
But I'll settle with Buddy saying that, yes, it is a mental disease. Yes, it is. All right. If you think we have a mental health crisis in America, reopen insane asylums. All right. You want to chop your dick off, you're going to go live in that building for 5 years until you figure it the fuck out. All right. Like that's where you're going. All right. Because whatever. Yeah. All right. Spiral out of here. Dave, shirts.
What do? We sell shirts. Hey, Jeff, thank you so much for coming on, man. I think we need to bring you on again as well so we can, you know, we're kind of limited on time. So let's talk about it a little bit more. I'd love to see how you guys grow, create, and do what you're doing. And as you guys expand, hopefully to Arizona as well. I might need another dog at some point. So it'd be great. I love it. I love it. For anybody that tuned in late, go to veterantrashtalk.com. That's our website. It has the links to everything, all of our podcasts, YouTube, all that good stuff. Go check out shop.veterantrashtalk.com. That has all of our amazing merch. Yeah, we got hats, we got shirts, we got hoodies. Gruntworksclothing.com. It's going to send you right to shop.veterantrashtalk.com. So for all of you that
we
are
own
watching,
that shit now.
Yeah, for all of you that are watching and are having issues with the website, we are merging stores right now, and it's going to be an awesome Shopify. It's going to be amazing. New layout, all kinds of good stuff. And that'll be out in the next 3-4 weeks, right, Nick?
Yep.
So
that's your
thanks.
job.
Yeah, but I just read the email, So thanks everybody for tuning in. Hope you have a kick-ass Saturday.